Hello there. Today is Friday, the 15th of September, and here is what I learned from people during this week. Rules can be broken. A coffee chat as a podcast. Help non-clients. An endless cycle of feeling unworthy. And the hardest part is to start. So check it out. First, on the community live conversation, I asked Kerri Williams how she feels about rules, and I loved her answer a lot.
I think rules can be broken if it's the right thing to do. I think you should always weigh what the right choice is. And if the rule does not align to what you feel strongly is the right thing to do, then occasionally I will act first and ask forgiveness later.
Second, today we had a coffee chat with Saddouk. In the beginning, he told me that he had no idea what to talk about on a podcast longer than 15 minutes. But after 60 minutes of a great conversation about podcasting, talking to people and other stuff, and then he came up with this great idea that every virtual chat that wasn't recorded is just another episode of the podcast you never release for public. So if you are having great conversations during coffee chats, maybe you can start your podcast. Think about it and check the link to Said's post below. Third, when people ask me to consult them about community building, but we cannot agree on a budget, sometimes I want to say just, okay, come back when you have a budget. But then I remember Freelance Thrive's conversation with David Leuliette and his advice on that.
If they don't have the budget, be kind. Say, oh, so you don't have the budget. It's okay. Just create a no-code application as your first MVP and come back to see me when you will have the budget. Because it's not going to help you, and probably you will be happy with like a no-code application. If you advise this to other people, they will be happy and probably tell to their friends. And oh yes, I know a really skilled guy, he helped me on that. I didn't have the budget, but you should contact him.
Fourth, I listened to Jay Shetty's podcast episode with Joe Dispenza, and they discussed that the more you criticize yourself and say that you are unworthy, not enough, and don't deserve something, the more you are going in the never-ending circle of negative, repetitive thoughts. As Joe explained, what you think about a lot becomes a belief, and the more negative thoughts you have, the more you feel that way, and the more you feel negative, the more you think about that, even unconsciously. Also, you do the best of what you think is available. But how can you do something really good for you if you think that you cannot do that or are unworthy of those things? They have a great conversation about breaking this cycle, so definitely check the link to it below. Fifth, and during our Freelance Thrive conversation, Balazs Beres told why you have to start doing something even though it's the hardest part of every journey.
The hardest part is always the first time when you are doing it. You don't know how to start it. You don't know whom should you ask how to do anything like this. And of course, you can find a lot of tips and tricks in the internet, but need to start. You just need to do it, and you will see along the way that how it's going for you.
And just like that, these were 5 things I've learned from people during this week. And what have you learned this week? Share it in the comments here on LinkedIn or whenever, and let's connect. If you learned something new, share this episode with your friend. That's it. I'm done. See you next week.